Thank you very much.
We love you, Dr.
Michael and Ryan, thank you very much for that introduction, and I'm very pleased to see such a nice crowd and such a nice welcome. Thank you. The revolution is alive and well. Somebody asked me why I'm not on your campus today. I said, well, I heard there were a lot of young people here who cared about liberty. Before I get started, though, I want to introduce my wife and my granddaughter that's with me. My wife, Carol, and my granddaughter, Linda, is behind me. I guess you know there's an election going on. I hear we're going to do very well in California. The media keeps telling me, isn't it all over? Isn't the campaign over? I don't know. It's half over. If you were running a mile, we've done 2 laps. And I sprint at the end. Now, we have a ways to go, but the campaign for liberty is going to go on. You know, our campaign has something to do with a revolution. It has to do with an idea whose time has come, and nobody can stop an idea whose time has come. The idea of liberty is alive and well. It's what made America great, but for some reason or another, 100 years ago, they sort of forgot about it. But it's been revived by a new generation who cares about the cause of liberty and peace. People keep asking me, why do the young people care about it? And I said, I think they are recognizing they're getting a bad deal. What are they getting? A lot of debt they're inheriting, a lot less freedom than previous generations have had, and also they end up graduating from college and they're having trouble getting jobs, and they wonder why. Well, there's reasons for it. Believe me, it has to do with the economic and the political system that has been corrupted and has to be changed. You know, we ran into an economic crisis here 4 years ago. Somebody asked not too long ago about the difference between running for president 4 years ago and now. I said, the difference of night and day. Because people recognize that the financial crisis, which was on our doorstep 4 years ago, is here, and it's serious, and it's big. At the same time, it's been many years that I have been trying desperately to stay out of wars. I'm trying to get out of it, get the wars to stop, and the American people now... And the American people now are with us on that issue. It's over 70% of the American people said, it's time to come home, time to get out of Afghanistan. It has no purpose for us to send more troops over there. And then when you think about the spending, you can't not think about how much we spend overseas. It's approximately $4 trillion worth of debt that has been ended up because of the foreign adventurism of the last 10 years. So even if those individuals out there that still believe that we have to be over there, the other Republican candidates advocate and criticize Obama for not doing enough. They want to do more. And the whole thing is what are they going to do it with? Where are they going to get the money? How long are they going to be able to borrow it from foreign governments to pursue these wars? So it's coming to an end. All great empires end for financial reasons. We don't have to worry about being attacked militarily. We are strong and we can take care of ourselves, but I tell you what, we're not taking care of ourselves at home very well, and that is what we have to be concerned about. You know, we all, when you go in the military or in the Congress or the presidency, we take an oath to obey the Constitution against all enemies, foreign, and we handle that pretty well. But we're supposed to look at the domestic enemies as well, and that's where our real threats are today. We have a government now essentially out of control. We have, for a long time, our presidents have used executive orders to pass laws. Just recently, the president said, well, Congress is acting too slowly. I want this regulation passed. I'll just write an executive order. Well, that's illegal. But the one thing that is legal is if you have a constitutional president and you look at all the illegal executive orders, you can repeal all of them by an executive order. We got into our crisis 4 years ago as a consequence of spending too much and borrowing too much and regulating too much and printing too much. And guess what they've been doing for 4 years? They have been spending more, taxing more, regulating more, and printing more. And they think they're going to get out of trouble that way. And guess what? We still have our recession going on. We still have our problems, and the deficit is exploding. Our country now is the greatest debtor in the history of the world. We owe more money to foreigners than any country has ever had, and yet we're supposed to be bailing out the world. Even today, as we speak, our government, our Federal Reserve, are laying plans to bail out Europe, buy Greek debt and Spanish debt. No! It's impossible. It won't work, and yet they're still embarking on that. I think the main problem that we got into is a long time ago, our country and the people in charge lost an interest in what liberty was all about. They were very interested in the fruits of liberty, because the fruits of liberty, when you have a free society and sound money, you have a lot of prosperity. But they concentrated on the prosperity, which is wonderful, but they forgot about where the prosperity came from. They thought it came from the government. They thought if you had a good lobbyist and you could redistribute wealth, you could benefit. And the tragedy is they did for a long time. But now the treasury is bare, and there's a lot of problems, and we have to get back to producing wealth if we expect to be a wealthy nation once again.
All right! Yeah! Plenty of gold in California!
When we had wealth, it wasn't so bad. They could talk about compromise. We'll compromise this. Somebody wants a weapon system. We'll pay for that. Somebody else wants some other social program. We'll compromise and do that until you run out of money. And then all of a sudden, what happens? The lobbyists and the special interests become more aggressive and more aggressive. But what do they have to go after? It's a shrinking pie. The pie is just about gone, and that is why there's a conflict in Washington, why you're not going to see this resolved. Just think of last summer when they were trying to resolve this budgetary problem. They were going to get together, and they couldn't resolve it, so they said, we're going to create a super committee, and they're going to do it. And they made a super mess out of the whole thing.
What a joke!
But just now, you know, we know that the current administration wants to spend even more money. But the Republican alternative has been proposed, and slightly better. The deficits don't expand quite as rapidly, but they're talking about way out years. They have proposed automatic increases. All they ever talk about are cuts in the proposed increases. They're not talking about real cuts. I'd like to make the point that what we need to do in the very first year, we should cut the budget by $1 trillion.
Yeah!
But they keep telling us that, no, the only problem is we don't have compromise. Well, the compromise worked fine when there was a lot of money. They compromised on spending. But they're not going to compromise. They're just going to fight more. And it isn't so much that the two parties have different philosophies, but they have different special interests. And they have different desires to hold power. So the whole effort is to have power and pay off the lobbyists who have the most interest. But there's not going to be a solution. What we need today is a coalition of people who believe in liberty for various reasons. We need to bring people together with these ideas. And this is the reason I talk about freedom a lot, because there are so many who understand freedom from an economic viewpoint, that we should have a free market and sound money. But they don't understand that freedom means the individual has freedom too for social reasons as well. Then, of course, if we'd have followed the founders' advice and minded our own business and not told other countries how to live, maybe we would have more friends around the world rather than enemies around the world. But we are told constantly that all we need, and I've been pressed for this all the time, how are you going to compromise? You have such firm beliefs. Yeah, I said, what are we going to do? When the president announces that he's going to assassinate American citizens, how are we going to compromise on that? Just assassinate a few at a time? Or what? I would say there is no compromise. Presidents have no authority to direct an assassination of an American citizen on where he is or what he's been charged with. What about the recent National Defense Authorization Act? And now the military can arrest American citizens under suspect of being associated with some group that might be doing something someday. They can be arrested by the military, put in a secret prison, denied an attorney, and kept indefinitely. There's no way you should compromise with that. That's a clear principle you should stand opposed to. You should stand for the cause of liberty and against that. What about the monetary issue? Should we compromise on the monetary issue? I would say we've compromised on the monetary issue for 100 years. Starting in 1913, there was a big compromise. They brought about the Federal Reserve System. Now, you either obey the Constitution, which says only gold and silver can be legal tender, or you allow men in secret, men and women in secret, print the amount of money that they want to bail out their friends and bail out the world to the tune of trillions of dollars, and they won't even reveal what they've done. I would say there's no compromise on that. Paper money doesn't work. It's always failed. It generates the funds to fight the wars and to run up the deficits at home and continue the welfare state and bail out all the special interests. So I would say that's not where you want to compromise. You need to bring people together. The cause of liberty will bring people together, and there's no reason why we can't keep this message going, because the reception is growing by leaps and bounds by the people who are interested in this message. You know, it's been said that you don't have to wait until you have a majority. Majorities are never what moves the country. People who are determined and have beliefs, strong beliefs, and ideas move the world. Ideas do have consequences. But you need a small group of people that are irate and tireless and will work and spread the brush fires of liberty in the minds of men. That is what we need today, and that is what's happening, fortunately, for us. But you know, since 9/11, I think in many ways we've gone backwards as far as protection of civil liberties. Our civil liberties are under threat. Ultimately, that should be the test. You have economic liberty and you want prosperity, certainly. And you have foreign policy and monetary policy. But everything can boil down as, what is your concept of liberty? Where does liberty come from? For me, it comes in a natural way. It comes in a God-given way. It comes as a gift. It doesn't come from our government. If you're going to have a government, the government should be there for the purpose of protecting liberty, not undermining liberty as they do.